Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I have Ethan Shaftel across from me. Hey, Ethan.
Hello.
It is good to see you. I've been looking at you for well over an hour now because we just did your interview. So anyone listening to my voice right now should listen to the podcast before this one, because that will be an interview with Ethan all about your work. In fact, I think I'm embarrassed. I forgot to say this before I hit record, but I'll just say it while we're recording because I'm willing to be wrong. I was saying Ajax the All Powerful. It's Ajax All Powerful. There's no the. There's no the in there.
There's no the, but I'm not precious about it.
You're not precious. Excellent. Well, Ajax is in a fantastic project. Immersive short film, animated, and people can watch it on the MetaQuest
3 and 2.
3 and 2.
Yeah.
And 3S. And so if you've got one of those,
look it up on the Meta Store.
Look it up on the Meta Store, because I'm telling you, if you don't like it, you can write to me personally, and I will fight with you. Like we can have it out on the internet. But Ajax is just excellent work.
Thank you.
Great storytelling. Totally loved it. I think I am going to be able to talk my wife into watching it sometime because of the fart jokes. She loves fart jokes.
Well, we got a couple of those.
They got those, and that's so smart of you to include. Such,
that's not what most people say, so I'm glad.
Really? Oh, no, I thought it was a brilliant move. Come on. There's no better joke than the fart, and it's universal.
Especially in animation.
Oh, my God. Totally. All right, so I'm recommending people watch your film. I'm recommending them listen to the podcast before this one. But now you're listening to this podcast, and you're going to get to hear Ethan answer the Discover Indie Film 4 questions, which are: name 3 of your favorite films, name an underrated film, name an overrated film, and name a lesser-known film that people should seek out. You have been involved in cinema for the vast majority of your life.
Yeah.
So I'm
in some way or form. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. We're probably around the same age, I think. So let's have an old fogies chat about movies.
Yeah. And the ones I prepared to say are all from my childhood, so it's going to be a blast from the past.
I've noticed that too. I was like, when for the 500th episode of this podcast, I finally gave in and I let myself be the interviewee, and I did the 4 questions, and I was like, these haven't changed since I was 20.
Yeah.
It's very funny. Everything gets locked in college, I think.
It's hard for any movie you see now to knock something that has captured your heart to that extent, to knock it off the mountain, It's, of course, you can love movies that I saw a lot of good movies last year. I felt like last year was a good year for movies. But it's like you can't lose a family member in place of somebody new, like a stranger on the bus you click with. You're not going to So my favorite movies have been pretty similar for a long time.
Agreed. All right. Well, you want to share them?
Yeah. Okay. First, Time Bandits, Terry Gilliam. That's been my favorite movie since I was in first grade, or maybe even younger. That movie is maybe exactly as old as me, or very close to. So I didn't watch it, when it came out. It was a baby, but it's been my favorite movie forever. So I got to say,
I'm going to interrupt because I am now officially older than you, because I got to see it in the theaters when it was first released.
Okay.
One of the greatest films of all time.
It is.
And I'll just share that I've been a fan of Terry Gilliam all my life.
Me too.
Fan of Monty Python all my life. And I was at the Telluride Film Festival once and rode in an elevator with him and did not have the guts to say, I just think you're a genius. Why did I not say, no one hates a compliment. I wasn't going to be like the fawning, annoying fan. I was just going to say, I just want you to know, I love everything you've ever done, and you're a genius. But I didn't. And so now
he could tell. He could feel it.
It's been about 20, 25 years that I've been regretting that. No, more like 15, 20 years. But anyway, sorry.
That's
I hadn't
hilarious.
Mentioned my worship of Terry Gilliam. Brazil is in my top 3. So anyway, now you go ahead.
So that for sure. And then jump forward a couple decades, The Game by David Fincher. I think it's a perfect movie.
It's an excellent movie.
It's has the perfect ending. It has several endings in a row that each time it becomes more perfect. Oh, it's a game. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's a game. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's a game. And the last, you're like, wow. So I love that movie. I saw that in theaters in probably high school. and I think it's his best work. I love it. So those two. And then the third one, I was thinking about it on the drive over because I think there's a lot of there's a lot of good movies I could slot in, and some are more recent, and some are not. But I've got to say, Lost Highway, David Lynch, Lost Highway, probably the best theater cinema going experience I've ever had was watching that movie unfold before my eyes. And I was not like a Lynch fan prior necessarily. I wasn't familiar, with his work really. I was just coming into, it's probably around the time where I could start seeing R-rated movies on my own. So and I think potentially if you look in everyone's brain, the first movie they thought was like maybe above their heads that they got to see and they didn't know why has a special attraction, or they didn't understand everything about it. Saw that movie and knocked my socks off, and it's been a favorite. The movies I've just said are some of the only movies I rewatch. I just don't, even movies I love, I don't see more than once. Usually there's just too much to see. Good recommendations, people, you got to see. You haven't seen that yet, but these are a couple that I have rewatched multiple times.
That's probably another reason why we can't replace our favorites on the list, because now you only see a movie once because there's too many possibilities. But back in the day, you'd have a VHS or a DVD, and you'd watch the same movie a couple times a year, maybe, because you loved it.
Yeah, and there was less film history to catch up on,
And you didn't have to catch up on Korean cinema and this and that. But
yeah,
I will add, but I do want to jump in. Maybe I'm just bragging, but also Lost Highway is one of the best soundtracks I've ever owned.
Yeah.
Amazing soundtrack.
Yeah. It just is the full picture. And I like Mulholland Drive, and I like a lot of the later films as well, but mostly just because they remind me of Lost Highway.
Fair enough. All right. Well, question number 2 is a film you feel is underrated.
Underrated. I think, let me see. I can't remember what I jotted down here. I don't know if this is the right one for... Underrated is hard. I have some movies that aren't, I think, maybe not as popular as they ought to be. From last year, I saw a delightful movie called It's What's Inside on Netflix. I don't know if people don't rate it well, but it's just, let's say it's maybe a little more unknown. Indie, sci-fi, sci-fi, I don't know, it's not a perfect genre type fit, but I can't recommend it enough. Great premise, very independent, didn't require great cast, confined space, and a great concept. And it unfolds. It's gripping. It's funny. It's thrilling. It's awesome. It's surprising. You can see it on Netflix right now, and I think it's just one of those little. It's an indie gem.
Excellent. I don't know why I'm going to do this, but also I think you could say Lost Highway is underrated. Because in general, people always lean, like if they're a Lynch fan, they always name Blue Velvet, or they name,
Blue Velvet or Mulholland Drive
I hear
won a lot of awards. Yeah. Or Elephant Man or Eraserhead. I mean, he's had a lot of award winners. So yeah, amongst, if you're a David Lynch fan, you may not have even seen Lost Highway. And I've seen all his movies. I would say that about The Game too. David Fincher's made many amazing movies. I love all his work, and some of my favorites of his, Zodiac is one of my favorites. I mean, I loved Fight Club, maybe, and I loved Alien 3. I am a big fan.
Alien 3 is great.
Yeah, and they're not all equal to each other.
Everyone loves 7.
Yeah, they're not all equal to each other, but they're all worth watching. And I just think The Game was really a great movie that everyone should see.
For sure. But I'm really eager to see It's What's Inside.
Yeah, I think it's great. If you like weird, creepy, I mean, it's sort of horror, sort of sci-fi, sort of comedy, dark comedy. It's just a great little movie.
Excellent. All right, well, question number 3 is a film you feel is overrated.
Now, this is hard for me because, and maybe let's just confine the world of overrated to my own heroes of cinema, because I came with Terry Gilliam, David Fincher, and a David Lynch movie. So that maybe is more palatable. Just look at overrated within there. I think I was not a fan of Benjamin Button, for instance, and that was a big Ward nominee and winner. And I just don't think that's David Fincher's best work. I've seen, and there's a couple movies of his that I think are overrated relative to some of his others. Terry Gilliam, I think Brazil's a masterwork too, but some of his work I thought was overrated. And now I can't remember which ones. Maybe not overrated, but just uneven, because sometimes his work isn't popular. But yeah, I would say that amongst those filmmakers, my favorites are the underrated ones with some frequency.
Agreed. I mean, like I said, I worship Gilliam, but I think he got the most acknowledgement for Fisher King.
Fisher King, yeah, exactly.
And, I'm the same way with the Coen brothers. I love every Coen brothers movie, but No Country for Old Men beat out There Will Be Blood for Best Picture, and like No Country for Old Men isn't even my top 5 for the Coen brothers.
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, it's a great film. It's just, overrated. I tend to just, it's just the Oscars are wrong, really, is the subtext of that question.
Fisher King, seeing it later, I think I saw it younger, and I was such a fan of some of his more whimsical. Well, there's plenty of whimsy, but it has grown on me relative to other films. I would still say if all of the masters were burned and no one could ever watch them again except one, I would save, from the vault. If I could grab one Terry Gilliam movie, it's Time Bandits for sure. But I would take a sec. I'd be like, shit, could I grab Brazil too?
Yeah, I'd be torn too, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's only one question left. We've been so efficient here. A lesser known film for people to seek out, which amusingly could have been What's Inside. But go on.
Yeah, I thought of that. I had sort of two candidates for those. I will say that the one that you should seek out is a Japanese found footage horror comedy horror, I would say, called One Cut of the Dead. And this shows up on lists of found footage movies sometimes, and it was extremely popular in Japan. My understanding, I only saw it recently in the last year. My understanding was it was a big indie hit in Japan. It was a breakout. But not a ton of people see it. If you like comedy, if you like found footage, you might not have ever even heard the title. It is an extremely independent film. It's an extremely low-budget film, extremely well-made, a ton of things to like about it, a very odd structure. I didn't like the first half of it. Then I saw the second half. Then I loved both halves. So please do yourself a favor. If this feels like a good fit for you at all, found footage, Japanese cinema, horror, comedy, it's very funny, or it's really a movie about filmmaking. So if you're a filmmaker, if you're an indie filmmaker, I think you're really going to like it. It's a sweet movie. It starts very strange, and it's not a spoiler for me to tell you the format of this movie. It starts with a movie within a movie, and then the story of making the movie you've just watched is the rest of it. And so there are, that it might put you off as you start, like, what am I watching? But it's a movie within a movie, and then it expands, and the whole package is a really excellent, very independent, very original movie.
I'm about to say something super biased, which is, sounds like it's a well-made Blair Witch project, because I really didn't like Blair Witch at all.
Yeah, it's like this. It's as if Blair Witch was a short found footage horror movie that is unintentionally funny, and then after finishing it, you see everyone make that movie you just watched, and everything comes together about what you're watching.
Oh.
And the found footage horror movie is about a horror director making a found footage horror movie, and then it goes wrong. So it's really a 3-layer sort of epistolatory movie that is really cool and really fun and such an original idea that unfolds. So there's a director in the movie and within a movie. Then there's the director of the movie you just watched that is the same actor, like the same character, and it's really fun. It's really fun. And it's a one-shot. The movie within a movie is a one-shot. That's why it's called One Cut of the Dead. Their big, ambitious idea is to make a found footage horror movie in one take. And that's kind of the entry point to it. I think it's really fun, and I can't remember what streamer you can get it on, but I was able to find it once it was recommended to me. It wasn't hard to find.
Yeah, there's that justlook.com or justwatch.com. No, wow, I really want to. Well, now you've given me two. I'm dying to see. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
everybody enjoy when they go find One Cut of the Dead, and it's what's inside.
Yeah, for sure. And if you haven't seen Time Band, it's okay. It's not too late.
It's definitely not. And I have not watched the series. There was a recent adaptation, Apple TV, Taika Waititi. I had heard mixed things. I think there's some. I don't know anything about it, so I can't speak to it. But the original early '80s Terry Gilliam one is a masterpiece of cinema.
The masterpiece, and it has, in my opinion, the greatest line ever from a movie, which was Sir John Gielgud as God. When the kid asks him why there's evil or whatever, he just goes, I forget, it had something to do with freedom of choice. But anyway, all right, well, let me do a wrap up. But I am actually, Elizabeth, you're going to have to watch this one. There's another visor. There's another headset. There, I just spoke to my wife as she walked through the kitchen, because that's the kind of podcast you're listening to. All right, let me wrap it up. First, thank you, Ethan. Ethan Shaftel's your website and everything. We'll make those clickable links in the show notes. Thank you for coming in and talking about both Ajax All Powerful and doing your 4 questions. And thank you, everyone, for listening to the Discover Indie Film Podcast. If you want to learn more about it, just go to discoverindiefilm.com. On social media, it's always @DIFwins. If you go to discoverindiefilm.org, that is the nonprofit that supports the arts. Because even in America, for now, we're allowing nonprofits to support the arts. Fingers crossed. But anyhow, I should not put that out there. But and that festival runs Sherman Oaks Film Festival and Film Invasion Los Angeles. Sherman Oaks Film Festival is where Ajax All Powerful played in our VR pavilion, our opening night gala. And everyone who saw it loved it. So if you want to learn more about that festival, go to ShermanOaksFF.com, or it's @ShermanOaksFF on social media. Its sister festival, Film Invasion Los Angeles, is FilmInvasionLA.com, and it's @FilmInvasionLA on social media. Film Invasion LA is in June. Sherman Oaks Film Festival is in December. And in January of 2026, those 2 film festivals get I call them sister festivals. They get a cousin in Lima, Peru, called Film Invasion Lima, which I'm excited. I've never been, but I'm going to fly to Lima, Peru for a film festival that I'm helping the team down there get it off the ground. But I'm looking forward to it. I hear all great things about, and it's kind of cool. It's South America. We almost had Berkeley. We almost had Grand Rapids. We almost had London. Almost had Vancouver. None of those film invasions came through. Somehow Lima, Peru came through. So, Ethan, thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.